Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are we getting on? So, we're back at Finch Farm again today, and we're going to build a generator room. I'm reasonably happy with how this place turned out. The place is starting to come together now. So, as always, if you like what you see, do hit that big red button, and let's get stuck in. So I was having some trouble figuring out where to put this, but sort of defaulted to this corner as it's about the only place with enough space. I didn't want to close this space off entirely because I've got a few ideas for it. So, it's warehouse pieces again, unfortunately, but I needed the clearance on this one, so needs must. Plus nothing else really would have looked the part, except maybe concrete, but that's just far too ugly for this place. So, warehouse floors in, and there's our generator provisionally. The floor's not quite as big as I'd like there, like a little bit more room around, but I'm sure some of you have already spotted my deliberate mistake. So, well, check the fit. There we go, loads of room, which would have looked great if it actually worked. Joy of a slight build order issue there. For some reason the piece doesn't like snapping across the join there, so shunt that across, solve the problem. Get some walls on this thing. Nice and easy. The idea I had for this place was to have a little bit of space in it somewhere for somebody to sit and work and be focused on whilst they're maintaining the generator. So I thought we need some windows and such like to get some light in there for whoever's stuck in here. Which does break the textures up a little bit as well, which is good. And there we go, we begin to see our little problem. It's being a generator room, having gaps in it is really not going to work very well. And as we will soon discover, I can't put a roof on this. Sadly, we don't actually have any half-width roof pieces, which I really should have seen a mile off and totally didn't. There we go. So I end up pulling out that little bit of extra half floor and coming up with a slight workaround, which actually makes the place a little bit more interesting. There we go. I have discovered my error after much messing around now. So we will shunt this back across and attach a little bit of space off to the side, which doesn't do great wonders for the blocky shape of the place, but it does help once you're inside, plus provides you with some room to move. So, to figure out why that's not snapping, it's the wall incidentally. Although that staircase would get in the way, which is a pity because I did like it. It's a bit different, resorts to the old standard of the scaffolding later on. I could actually have clipped this straight through the concrete, but possibly even used concrete for a back wall, but I didn't want it to look too exposed to the weather given that there's a generator in there. All the holes in the walls notwithstanding, anyway. Shrubbery in our face. And there we go. Nice. So I ended up with a small disaster coming up before too long. Namely that not long after I got the roof on, my PS4 decided it was going to throw a wobbler and crash on me. So I lost about 3/4 of an hour of progress and messing around and stuff, which was extremely annoying. So, yes, minor rage quit occurred there. On the other hand, whilst I was walking away from it, I did have a bright idea about how to improve this, so swings and roundabouts, I guess. Now, this particular piece is designed to go in that gap, or similar gaps, but for some reason it just won't snap in the right place. So, little trick I saw Sardeliac use recently. which much credit once again to him. Although he didn't do the stupid thing I'm about to do. Here we go. Jetpack straight to the roof. Great move. So, pull the roof off and come around the side. These foundation pieces from either the barn or warehouse tab, either one, will allow you to sink things in, particularly the concrete pillar, which makes it a lot easier when you do something like that. A little bit of fiddling around, and we have the gap nice and plugged. Although we'll have to repeat the whole procedure in a minute. Because I think, yeah, we've just hit the... No, we haven't hit the crush yet, that comes up in a moment. So, as we don't have a see-through floor on this particular build, we don't need anything that looks particularly solid underneath. It just needs to look good from the outside. So, cinder blocks will do the job quite nicely. I did think about using the foundations, but they looked a little too solid and neat and tidy. I'll do it looking a little bit more improvised than that. Conveniently, even though they're a funny shape to begin with, you can just add the single cinder blocks on the side there and square them up a little bit, which makes them slightly better for this job. Although it's worth noting, the collision box on the single one seems to be larger on one side than the other. So if you spin them round, they'll sit much closer one way round than the other. Although occasionally they're just temperamental anyway. I did try, and had some success with, in fact, just selecting and unselecting the various wall and the cinder block itself, and that seemed to reset it a bit and allow it to sit more closely. But on occasion it just wouldn't cooperate at all, so in that case it was just a case of grab it with the concrete pillar, if I can speak, and move it in as per. That works nice and easily. Although it does make it slightly more challenging to line it up. Not that it's all that easy anyway, looking at this. There we go. And concrete pillar straight in. The thing to remember, of course, is that the ends stick out significantly further than the top half, or the bottom of it, so below the ground you've still got collision going on. But that works quite well with the scrappy look of the thing anyway, so it's all good. And there we go, as you see the roof's come off now because it crushed and I had to redo everything. Yay! However, I did have an idea. I'm going to put a little walkway in around the upper level, around the top of this wall here, and put an upper level in, which actually ends up looking way better, because otherwise the generator would have been very, very close to the roof. I'm pretty sure it would have gone in though. Fairly sure. But nice little catwalk gives us a view up there. I don't know whether or not I could have snapped the standard Vault generator in here. It comes with a floor piece. It definitely wouldn't have looked cohesive with the rest of the build. But the drawback to the one I've used, unfortunately, is that it doesn't have any effects on it. Because the Vault one has sort of crackling electricity on it. So we do what we can with the cycling lights and stuff, but give it a bit of colour. It is a little bland, unfortunately. Still, probably a tad more realistic. There we go. So I'll stick some walls in quickly. Very quickly. Mix and match as per. And then get the roof back on. Basically do exactly the same thing we did before. Well, they're very similar anyway. If the thing ever wants to snap anyway. It was a bit awkward, that corner. There we go, job done. So we'll get some railings on, because you definitely don't want to fall on top of these sparking generators. That would be unpleasant. Kind of surprised that the warehouse tab doesn't actually come with any decent railings in it. The concrete ones work fine, but you'd think they'd have something in there. There we go. I did actually use the one that snaps by the stairs, but unfortunately it sat too far over and looked terrible, so I sorted back out for the shorter one rather. I've just realised I could have lined up the centre there with the floor, because there's a gap in the middle of the bottom of the generator, and instead I just struggled. Wasn't very clever of me. Oh well. Live and learn. So I'm just checking here where the connection point is for the wire, which is in that back corner. There's the whole point of doing this, which turned out to be utterly pointless in itself anyway, was to bury conduits underneath the floor so that I could run the wires out without being able to see wires trailing everywhere. However, the floor went snapping once you've done that, and if you put the floor in first, you can't see to put them in place. So the whole basis of this build from the get-go totally failed on me there. However, this works as well, so it's not quite as elegant a solution as I wanted, but what can you do? So, run the wire straight through the floor so it's out of sight, which is why I'm basically eyeballing the position of this conduit with the one I put inside. Connect it up, wire glitch, and there we go. Not quite as elegant as I wanted, like I say. So I'll connect it over to this as basically the only powered thing we've got at the moment. Just again, pull the floor out, wire glitch, run it right across, connect it to the conduit out the back there. There we go, all but invisible. And you see the doors opened again, so it's obviously powered up. So, decoration and tour. As I say, the building looks really blocky and ugly. I was looking for a way of breaking up textures a bit, making it look a bit more interesting, and trying to differentiate it a little bit from the one we did last week. So with the planned theme for this end of the build, a few vehicles around the outside worked quite well, and I've boarded up some of the windows using planks and plywood boards and stuff added by custom vanilla assets. That's worked quite nicely. There's a couple of other bits and pieces from CVA in there as well. So we'll have a shufty inside. That pipe attached to the generator is one of the CVA items. There's a lot of pipes in there, but most of them, at least some of them anyway, seem to crash the FPS like nobody's business. So that plan went out the window quite quickly. Little workspace. Normally I don't use that red office chair, but it just fit in here, so that's the one we went with. Chunk decoration is a little minimal. I went to town on it last week, and in the confined space here, I wouldn't have felt it look right anyway. So it could have done with the crackling electricity, but some blue lights I'll have to do. I did try a strobe light to make it look a little more interesting, but it's not bright enough to do the job, unfortunately. And that, pretty much, is that. Well, I do hope you enjoyed. As always, if you'd like to find me on social media, you can find me on Twitter and Facebook, /Darth Games. I shall be speaking to you very soon. Thank you very much.